I'd like to express my gratitude to all participants of this Trilateral Party Seminar, hosted by KEI, KF-VUB, Korea Chair, George Washington Institute for Korean Studies, and KIEP. I am very pleased that we are gathered here with experts to examine the emerging trade issues and discuss trade cooperation among the European Union, Korea, and the United States. How can I define the contemporary world? Probably uncertainty, hyper uncertainty, is one of the words that figure out the world. There will be no exception with respect to global trade as well. We are facing new issues, including digital trade, trade related to climate change, and economic security issue. Deglobalization, protectionism, strategic competition between the United States and China, and of course the pandemic have worsened the situation. We are now in the age of distrust that many countries and companies are seeking to reorganize their supply chain. Distrust is causing governments to pursue economic security to build more stable relations with their allies. Moreover, incidents such as the Ukraine and Russian war and more frequent natural disasters are also affecting global supply chains. That the importance of economic security is emphasized more than ever throughout this century. We are facing the age of great transformation too. There are two main transformation challenges that we need to tackle. Digital transformation and green transformation. Advancement of technology is leading at the World Forum from analog to digital. Digital transformation is changing our lives in many ways. The many efforts are made to stipulate digital in various ways, including global trade. So digital trade is one of main agenda for global discussion in trade, that global norms on digital trade are being discussed through multilateral, plurilateral, and bilateral channels, including WTO e-commerce panel, US-China, US-Japan digital trade agreement, and the digital economic partnership agreement, so-called DEPA, and then IPEP. Korea participates in these global rule-setting discussions and build the foundation for the growth of the domestic digital industries. Climate crisis is another challenge that we need to overcome with green transformation. Many countries declare to take action to achieve the carbon neutrality since Paris Agreement in 2015. But it is true that countries found difficulties in making green transformation, but now stronger global consensus is built to achieve eco-friendly society. The more aggressive movements are made in many countries. In particular, European Union's announcement of the carbon border adjustment mechanism in July of last year was a major incentive for its trading partners to realize the necessity of green transformation. Such a system may bring a dramatic change of conventional business strategy of the EU's trading partners, including Korea, who has many global leading firms in carbon-intensive industries. In this ever-changing trade environment, we need to review our positions on each of these new trade issues and develop creative and efficient policies to respond to these issues. We need to go beyond the traditional trade policies such as the FTAs and develop policies suitable to address these new global trade issues. Therefore, we have a lot of work to do. Ladies and gentlemen, it's very meaningful that we are gathered here to share our insights on such key issues like the digital technology, economic security, and environment, while global trade paradigm are shifting rapidly. As we have renowned experts here at the seminar, I'm very much looking forward to fruitful discussion to figure out our ways forward in this changing environment. Once again, I'd like to express my gratitude for your participation. Thank you. Thank you very much. 감사합니다.
Yes, thank you very much. In the interest of time, I will be very brief. I just want to say that I'm very pleased on behalf of our Korea chair to be able to partner with KIEP, K, and the Korean Studies Institute at the George Washington University. And we look forward to a very fruitful discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anho, and good morning, good evening, everyone. Your technical glitch allowed me to run through the rain here. There's a demonstration going on at the IMF, so things are back to normal in some ways. And I'll try to make my remarks short too, but I do want to say a great thank you to our host and partner here at GW, we at Institute of Korean Studies. Thank you to the Dean, to our other partners, President Kim at KIEP, the Korea Institute for International Economic Policy, and of course, Dr. Kim Heungchong in his own right is one of Korea's leading Europeanists, and of course, the Korea Foundation for University of Brussels Korea Chair. I'd say a lot of people I haven't seen before, like Ramon, and thanks, congratulations on your book and a great title, Shrimp to Whale, by the way, those are something like that. We're here today to deepen our discussion of the relationship between the Republic of Korea, the United States, and the European Union, and particularly look at the areas of commerce, trade, and economy, or to use, I guess, one of the catchphrase words of the moment, economic security, that are in such flux right now. And the question is not why are we doing this? I think it's self-evident why this is important, but why haven't we done more of this before? But I'm glad we're doing it now. My own experience as a former diplomat who spent half of her career, my career, working on Asia and half working on Europe, is that at least at that time in the United States, we tended to kind of view trans-Pacific and transatlantic relations from the US point of view as kind of separate and distinct spheres. But while I was in Korea as ambassador about a decade ago, I was certainly reminded, remember this minister, I was reminded how even then that was an incomplete way of looking at things. And when it came to free trade agreements, of course, the US had negotiated one painstakingly with Korea over a number of years. And then kind of in 2011, it seemed like kind of at the last moment, the EU swooped in and negotiated a free trade agreement and then ratified it and implemented it even before we'd gotten ours done. So, so much for the slowness of EU bureaucracy and politics. But it was a spur to the United States, I think, to understand that we're all in this together. And of course, a decade later, we know that more than ever. We have a different set of issues, though, a different and far more complex context, resilient supply chains, climate change policy, export controls, digital security, all areas in which each of our spheres play such an important role. The agenda has expanded, as our agenda today shows, beyond trade, as we defined it a decade ago. And while we're calling for cooperation among like-minded democracies, there also, of course, is a lot of potential for conflict, disagreement, disruption. So my final point here is, using some of Ramon's time, is economically, maybe it's time to think of ourselves as in a three-superpower world. Economically, the US, China, and the US are all roughly the same size, and together make up about half of the world's GDP. And of course, Korea's relationship with all three matters to itself and to the world. And geographically, I think it's important for we Americans to remember that Seoul is closer to Brussels than to Washington, at least geographically. Successive South Korean governments have sought to deepen their ties, economic and strategic, with Europe. And this is deepened and continued with the Yoon administration, which has also prioritized strengthening the US-Korea alliance. So I'm looking forward to the conference today. Welcome, and thank you to our speakers, especially those who have traveled so far. I think that today will be an important step in deepening our understanding of our respective perspectives and identifying the areas that need active attention and management. And with this, some potential cooperation. Thank you.